Hello, my name is Andrew Bossi, representing Group 3 Redfish Telemetry Client, and today I'm going to discuss the most challenging technical problem that I faced this semester. I'd like to begin with a bit of a preface. When a user navigates to our landing page, they're presented with a list of available telemetry metrics, which they can go in and select, and then on page submit, those metrics are sent to the backend for processing and storage. A requirement for this page is that when a user comes back to the page in the future, the pre-existing metrics that they had selected in the past need to be pulled out and displayed onto the page. The problem that I faced was pulling those metrics back onto the front end on page load while displaying them correctly in a nested list. Each metric has its own corresponding parent definition. So the nested list would be parent definition, and then nested within that would be the individual metric, and so on. On page load, those pre-existing metrics need to be highlighted in the available metrics list as already selected. Another problem is that when the user goes to add new metrics to that list, the new metrics need to integrate seamlessly with the pre-existing list of metrics such that there are no duplicates and it still follows that nested loop structure. I solved this problem in a few steps. I pulled on page load, I pulled those metrics from the back end to the front end and populated that into a doubly nested JavaScript data structure such that the metrics definition or the keys to the nodes in that data structure, and then those nodes themselves are also data structures such that the individual metrics will be the values underneath that key that is the metric definition. I did this using a doubly nested for loop that looped through the metric definitions and then through the individual metrics. This also helped solve the addition problem of new metrics such that the new metrics can also be populated into that same data structure, such that I implemented it such that when a user selects a new metric, it looks through that data structure and finds the metric definition key. If that metric definition key is there, that means that a metric under that definition is already there. So then I'll loop through that metric definitions data structure to see if that metric is there. If it is there, we don't need to do anything. If it's not there, then I just appended that metric to that data structure. If the key is not there, then I simply appended the key as another data structure and then appended that individual metric. The great thing about having that selected data structure is that now you have a structure that represents the data at any given time on that page. So every time a user selects or deselects a metric, I can use that data structure, loop through it, and rebuild the list on that page. So the page updates dynamically based on that selected data structure. The result of this entire problem that I faced was that the metrics do pull through perfectly fine. They populate on the page. They are nested the correct way they're supposed to be. The addition of new metrics also populates into the list on the front end as well as that data structure that's in JavaScript. And now that I have a nice data structure, I can also use that data structure to parse it into JSON and send it into the backend, because now the data structure itself is a nice representation of the data on the front end that we can now use on the back end. What I would do next time is I really should have broken the problem down into sub-problems from the get-go. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out where to start on this problem, and then eventually I just kind of started it. I should have taken a little bit more time planning, because it was a fairly complex problem, especially since there were so many nested loops going around, and the elements dynamically loading onto the page, and updates and things like that. I also would have asked for more help. I really didn't ask many people for help on this problem. I should have asked some of my group members if they had tackled a problem like this before. Maybe I would have been able to get it done quicker, because this problem did set me a little bit behind for the other tasks that I had planned to do. So I had to play a lot of catch up. But other than that, I solved the problem pretty well. Thank you.